mamas! Today's 30-minute yoga practice is all about gaining awareness. So gaining awareness about our mobility, how the body moves, maybe some sensations in the body, and just really becoming aware, right? Practicing becoming the witness. Practice becoming the observer of our body, of our mind, how they work, what they do in certain situations. And so I recommend that you really use this practice as an opportunity to explore, get curious how the body moves, and don't get too caught up in what is the pose supposed to look like, but what does the pose feel like? How does the pose make you feel? What is the body asking you to do? Okay? So that is what today's practice is going to be all about. You are going to want to have a strap nearby. If you don't have a strap, grab a belt or a scarf or a piece of cloth, anything that you can use to help lengthen the arms. So have that. And with that, we will begin. So please come to a comfortable seated position. If sitting cross-legged, you find that you're sort of rounding through the spine and not able to sit directly on the sit bones, feel free to grab a blanket, give yourself a little bit of an elevation, maybe sitting up on a pillow, bolster, so using that if we need. And just closing the eyes here. Taking a few moments to center. Really feeling the sit bones connecting with the mat below. Begin to lengthen up through the spine, reaching out through the crown of the head. Inhaling, moving the breath into the front side of the body, the belly, chest, and ribs. Exhaling, beginning to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhales, move into the front side of the body, belly, chest, and ribs. Exhale, see if you can relax down through the lower back and through the hips. Softening, relaxing just a little bit more. Taking a few breaths now, turn inwards. Notice the body. Notice any spots that are maybe feeling a little tight, a little tender. Taking the inhales, moving the breath with awareness to those places within the body. And exhaling away the tension. Relax, release. Taking a few breaths like this. And after the next exhale, gently opening the eyes. Inhale, really lengthen the spine as much as you can. Grow out through the top of the head. And exhale, gently lower the right shoulder towards the right ear. Beginning to feel a nice stretch through the left side of the neck. And now I want you to take the right hand, bring it up and over, and just gently place a little bit of pressure. And notice how, with that small amount of pressure, you're able to go just a little bit more. Keep this right shoulder soft. Don't clench up, right? This is a very gentle movement. And on the next exhale, I want you to turn and tuck the chin down towards the clavicle. You can gently Put a little pressure here on the back side of the head. Move the stretch into the back side of the neck. Just breathing into the sensations. Releasing any tightness and tenderness. Next inhale, gently releasing, coming back to center. We inhale, we lengthen, we grow. Exhale, dropping the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, trying not to scrouch up. Maybe we bring that left hand for a little additional pressure. And just noticing how that simple movement gives you a little bit more range of motion within the neck. Breathing into the tightness. Exhaling away. Releasing the tenderness. Maybe dropping that chin down towards the clavicle. Moving the stretch into the back side of the right neck. Taking another breath here. Good, gently releasing. Inhale, lifting our head back up towards center. Good. Now we're going to inhale, opening the hands out nice and wide. Exhale, bring that right forearm over, or under, sorry, I should say, left forearm over. And you're just going to give yourself a little massage here with the fingertips. Just gently pressing into the neck and maybe just letting the head do some gentle neck rolls. Close the eyes here. Just really listening to the body, how the neck wants to roll. If it feels good, you can let the head fall all the way back. If it doesn't feel good, just let it slide right by. Good, coming back to center. Inhale, open, relax. Exhale, this time pulling the right hand over, opposite side. Giving yourself that nice little massage. And letting the head roll the opposite direction. Really noticing these sensations. The fingertips into the neck. Rolling, moving the neck however fast or slow feels good today. Good, gently releasing the hands down. Gaze forward. Good. Next, inhale, reach the left hand up towards the sky, palm facing inwards. Exhale, gently begin to reach out over to the right. Keep grounding down through that left sit bone. Don't let it reach up off the floor. Reach out through the left fingertips. Bring that shoulder back. On the exhale, bring that left hand across, around in front. Ground down that left hand to the side. Inhale, reach that right hand up and over. Stretching through the lateral side bodies here. Ground down through that right sit bone. Don't let it lift up. Keep it down. Reach out through the fingertips. Bring the shoulder back. We don't want to be crouching and hunching. Electric fingers. Inhale, feeling the rib cage expanding. Exhale, reach down and across. Let the body flow around to the other side. One breath, one movement. Inhale, arm reaches out and up. Exhale, let that hand come down and across and around. Inhale, right arm reaches out and up. And now I just want you to find a little bit your flow. So making these movements yours, maybe closing the eyes, going inwards. Really sort of creating this nice breath, body, moving meditation. Doing one more time on each side. And we'll come back to seated, centering, grounding down through the sit bones. Reach up through the crown of the head. Inhale, arms reaching out and up. Extend. Exhale, bring the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the back. Gentle twist, opening up to the left. Keep focusing on keeping a nice, long, straight spine. So from the sit bones, reach out through the crown, and then from there, you can begin to bring the left ribs back, right ribs forward, maybe moving the gaze back over the shoulder. Inhale, untwisting, come face forward. Reach the hands up to help lengthen, extend. Exhale, left hand, right knee, right hand behind the back. Ground down, lengthen through the spine as we begin to twist open, pulling those right ribs back, left ribs forward. Bring the gaze. Here we go, one breath, one movement. Inhale, we extend, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen, reach. Exhale, twisting it out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lowering the hands down to the thighs. From here, we're going to gently rock on the pelvis by tilting forward and tucking under. So I just want you to gently start to begin to shift and to move forwards and back with the pelvis. So everything is just coming here in the hips, and just feel those subtle sensations below. Sort of how you move front and back on the sit bones. Noticing this gentle mobility within the hips. And now we're going to bring a little bit more of back flexion and flexion into it. So as we tilt the pelvis forward, belly comes forward, we're going to open up through the chest and let the shoulders come back and neck opens. On the exhale, you're going to tuck the pelvis under, belly draws in, tuck the chin to the chest and sort of round through the spine. So inhale, the pelvis tilts forward, belly comes forward, let the chest and throat come forward. Exhaling, tucking the tailbone, pull the navel in, chin to chest, let the spine round. So just taking a few breaths like this, close the eyes. And let yourself gently rock back and forth with the inhales and exhales. Moving as fast or as slow. Turning the gaze inwards. Doing that for one more breath. And coming back to center. Good. Just bringing the legs out in front, giving them a nice little shake. And crossing them the other way. So other foot in front. You'll know you'll have it right if it feels strange. Let the palms rest gently on the thighs. And now we're going to just gently do some hip circles. So go with whichever direction feels good for you to start with. And just really notice how we shift the weight from the sit bone back to the tailbone, to the other sit bone, forward towards the pubic bone. And just really make these nice slow circles along the pelvic outlet. And I invite you to close the eyes here and really really just let the rest of the body go and get into these nice circles. So if you want to get in a little bit into the shoulders, if you want to let the head go, let the neck go. Right, just whatever feels good, whatever feels natural. Maybe you feel a little tightness and tenderness in a spot. Well, pause there, breathe into it. Maybe it feels good to speed up the circles, explore, be curious, see what happens when you do that. Gently pausing before switching directions. Just really exploring all the ways the body can move, the shoulders, the pelvis, the hips, the neck, the spine. Get into it. Exploring the body, exploring how the breath and the body move together. Slowly working our way back to center. Opening our eyes. And coming over on to hands and knees. Now, if knees are very tender, being on the knees hurt, get a little bit of extra padding, maybe a little blanket. We can roll up the sides of the yoga mat as well to create extra cushioning. So find if that works, which one works for you. We're gonna wake up and say hello to our toes. So we're gonna curl the toes under and get in there with the fingers, right? Make sure you get those pinky toes, everything situated. And then we're going to sit back on the heels. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, let the shoulders be over the hips, hips over the heels, heels over the toes. Rest the palms gently on the thighs, close the eyes. If at any point the pose is a little bit too intense, know that you can lift up and stay here, or you can come down onto the hands. So always listen to your body, okay? The goal is not necessarily to sit here for 1 hour, but listen to the body. What does the body need? And when it comes up to a little resistance, what happens? Does the body start to tense? Do you grip? Does the mind start to go? Can you quiet that and soften that with the breath? Can you remain calm in the chaos? Can you soften? And from a loving space, let the body go a little bit further. And if it's too much, and you know it's too much, we just lift out, which we're all gonna lift out now anyway, so lifting the hips up. We'll come down onto the hands. Gently kick those toes into the mat, give them some love. Excellent. And from here, we will sit back onto the heels. If this is uncomfortable to sit in this position, you can always have a pillow here to give yourself a little bit of height. And if that is still too uncomfortable, feel free to come back down to your seated cross-legged position. We're just gonna do a little bit with the shoulders here. So inhale, interlacing our hands. We're gonna press the palms out and wide. Inhale, reach the hands up. Now it's very important here, we don't want to arch the back to make the shoulders go back. So bring those lower ribs down, stack the shoulders on top of the hips, and pull the biceps in towards the ears, bringing the scapulas back down the back. Keep the gaze forward, keep the gaze soft. One more breath here. Exhale, reaching the hands forward and out. Let the palms come onto the thighs, come back up, curl our toes back under again. Round 2, toe torture. Curling even those pinky toes under, allowing the body to sit back on the heels, close the eyes. And just move the awareness on onto the breath at the tip of the nose. Moving with the inhales and exhales, trying to keep the forehead soft, facial muscles soft, body relaxed. Just noticing, become the witness. What happens? What is going on in the body, in the mind? Can we calm it with the breath? Knowing that this too shall pass, taking one more breath here. Inhale, lifting out, coming down on the hands, kicking those toes into the ground, sitting back onto our heels. This time bringing the hands behind the back and interlacing the fingers with the opposite grip, so opposite thumb on top. And then from here we will just begin to pull, trying to straighten the arms. Once again, we don't want to do this, right? Because the goal isn't necessarily to straighten the arms. Seeing if we can really pull the palms together. Bring the scapulas down the back. Keep the gaze forward, keep the gaze soft. One more breath here. Good. Exhale, gently releasing the hands. Coming back onto hands and knees. Shoulders over wrists, fingertips spread, knees under the hips, tops of the feet to the floor. From here, we're just going to do some wrist circles and hip circles. So going as large or as small as feels good, but really try to keep the hands down on the mat. All parts of the hands connected, active, pressing down through the fingertips. Reverse direction. And you can make these circles as big or maybe as small, fast, slow, just paying attention. Excellent. Sitting back on the heels. This time, we're going to bring the palms, this time, palms facing down. We're going to turn the hands so pinkies are towards each other. Fingertips facing back. Let the hips come up. Knees can be a little bit wider here. Toes can come together. And gently begin to move the hips backwards. Trying to keep, don't let the hands lift up, but keep the palms pressing onto the ground. Moving the breath into the sensation, saying hello to your wrists, saying hello to your forearms. Taking one more breath here. Good, gently releasing, coming off, move the knees together. Do some gentle wrist rolls, rolling out the wrist. Going both directions. Good. One more time. This time, thumbs will stay towards each other, coming down. Fingertips are coming towards us. We're coming down onto the top parts of the hands. Let the knees come wide, toes come together. Begin to sit the hips back. Don't let the hands lift up, keeping the hands down. Really pressing all the fingertips into the ground now. Lift the pinky. Lower the pinky. Lift the ring. Keep the middle and pinky down. Say hello, ring finger. Lower the ring. Lift the middle finger. Lower the middle. Lift the pointer, lowering the pointer, lift the thumb, lowering the thumb, maybe sitting the hips back just a little bit more, trying to keep the arms straight, not bending them out, keeping arms straight. Good, slowly coming off, letting ourselves sit back on the heels, Doing some gentle wrist circles. Just shaking out the wrists, shaking out the wrists. Slowly shaking it out. Okay, and with that, we are going to come back down to a seated position. Letting the feet be a bit wider than hip width apart. Let the hands come down behind us. We're going to flex the feet. So toes are going to lift up. Inhale, keep the chest lifted. And exhale, we're just going to gently let the knees fall over to the right. Holding here for a few moments, breathing into that left outer hip. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, letting the knees fall over to the left. Just pausing here, breathing for a moment. Noticing the sensations. Inhale, and once again now, just taking your time to close the eyes and go inwards and move a bit with the breath. So you can go as fast or as slow as feels good. Just really gaining sort of this movement within the hips, internally and externally, rotating the hips. Moving at your own pace, exploring how the body moves, what sensations you feel when it moves, any places of resistance, and what happens to you physically, emotionally, mentally when we come up against that resistance. Just gently doing this one more time each side. Before coming back to center. Bringing the feet in. So feet are touching, knees fall out wide. We're going to create a nice little diamond shape here with the legs. So bring the palms again behind the back. Inhale, really lift and open through the chest and the heart. And then on the exhale, begin to tilt that pelvis. Tilt the hips just like we did at the beginning of class forward. So if the hips don't tilt and you feel that you're just rounding through the spine, you stay here. And you just breathe down into the hips. And as the hips open, you'll begin to have that mobility. So really just always finding where you are in the pose, because whether you're here or whether you're here, the benefits are the same. Okay, so that's why it's so important we learn to listen to our bodies. We learn to understand where we are on the pose, because the pose is never the pose, because there's always more to every single pose. There's always something more. So finding your perfect pose for this moment of what your body needs. Maybe let the hands come down towards the feet. You can tuck the chin to the chest now. If hips are tipping, if pelvis is tilted forward. Next inhale, slowly rolling up, using a little support from the hands to move the knees up towards the sky. We're going to roll down to our back. So let's do a little bit of just core activation. Let's say hello to our core. So roll the shoulders back. Keep this chest space open. And with the core, imagine we're putting on a tight pair of pants on the bed, right? So we are not just using our surface muscles, we are using all of these. I like to call them our corset muscles, because these are the lower level muscles that wrap around from the side, rib cage to pelvis, all the way in our transverse abdominis. And let's lift and open the chest, palms facing up. We're gonna slowly roll down for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7. Pause. Put on those pants. Hug it in. Hug it in. Lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Rolling all the way down. Letting the legs extend out. Just taking a breath here. Let the body settle. Next, inhale, bending the right knee up, reaching around. Maybe we can interlace the hands around the shin. If this is not available, you can always use the strap for a little support or the belt to help pull the knee and the shin in. Otherwise, interlace the fingers. Try to keep the shoulders down on the mat. Keep the elbows in by the body and use the arm strength to gently pull the right knee down towards the right armpit. Gently opening through the hips. Using the breath to guide you through the pose. To soften the body, to open the body. To let yourself receive just a little bit more. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, pull that knee in as far as we can. And then gently release the right leg down. Taking a moment's pause before bringing the left knee up. Bringing those hands around, this time interlacing, opposite thumb on top. Making sure shoulders are down away from the ears, trying to keep those shoulders down on the mat. If we're lifting up too much, use the strap. Use the strap to help. Otherwise, we're here, keeping the elbows in by the rib cage. Using the breath to soften and opening up through that hip joint. Using the breath to melt resistance. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, gently releasing the left leg down. Pausing here for a moment. Inhale, bringing both legs up. Now reaching around, giving yourself a little hug. Maybe rolling around a little bit on the lower spine if that feels good. If you roll maybe in circles, make sure to do circles in both directions. And then let the arms fall out to a T, keeping the knees in, just gently letting the legs fall over to the right. You can let the gaze maybe shift over to the left. Letting the body melt into the floor. Next, inhale, use a bit of core, come back through center, realign. And exhale, letting the knees drop over to the left, trying to keep that right shoulder down. And if it feels good, bring the gaze over the right shoulder. Maybe closing the eyes here. Beginning to relax, let go into the floor. Inhale, using that core, coming back through center one last time. Give yourself one more hug. Pulling yourself in tight, giving yourself a little squeeze before releasing and letting the legs down nice and long. Letting the toes fall out, heels fall in. Bringing the arms out wide, palms facing up, walking those shoulder blades down the back, keeping the chest nice and open. Beginning to let go. Let go of the practice, let go of the body, let go of the breath, let go of it all. Relaxing your toes, feet, ankles, calves, shins, backs of the knees, thighs, hips, glutes, pelvis, just letting it all melt into the mat. Relaxing the core, the back, shoulders, chest, the biceps and triceps, forearms, wrist, palms, and fingertips. Letting it all go. Relaxing the throat, the back of the neck. Feeling the head melt into the mat. Relax the forehead, softening the spot in between the eyebrows, letting the eyes sink back into the eye sockets, heavy. The jaw releases, letting the tip of the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Finding stillness here in Shavasana and resting here for as long as you can. Thank you for practicing with me today. I will see you again soon. Namaste.